Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Andy, 10 years later, and WWE is still giving us this huge main event picture. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar face to face at the end of Monday Night Raw. For a minute, Andy, I wasn't sure that they were actually going to fight. For a minute, I didn't know what was about to happen. They made us wait for a minute.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I honestly thought Brock was just going to bail from the ring and then walk away for, and then save that for War Games or whatever. Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of dawned on me when both of them were in the ring face to face. Is all of the WrestleMania main events, the SummerSlam main events come flooding back. And I'm sitting there going, they finally figured out how to do Brock and Roman right. Like they finally figured out how to do these two. We don't need MMA style Brock. We don't need, ultimate babyface Roman Reigns. We just need them to be them. And this works. So like that makes all the other WrestleMania matches that we got even more frustrating because there was so much potential between these two. But it seems like we are finally getting that now. And so I think the question is, are we going to get more Brock versus Roman matches, Roman Reigns returns, or Big Show heel turns at this point? I think they all three are like the consistent thing you're going to get every year. Even when Big Show's not on TV, he's still going to find a way to turn face or heel at this point.
Oh, that's true. That is the running gag. Aaron in the chat with us. Thank you for being back with us, Aaron. By the way, you've taken too long of a hiatus. The real pop would have been if Brock and Roman standing in the center of the ring, the credits roll, and then the tractor from SummerSlam comes out for War Games. Listen, Andy, the only thing that would make it better is if one tossed the microphone to the other one and Roman just snags it out of the air like he did at SummerSlam. I mean, you've got the makings of calling all of their matches back over the last 10 years. Again, like Aaron laid out in that comment, and like you just said, some of it was terrible, but some of it is very memorable. Like they're two of the biggest stars of the last decade plus for a reason. And it makes all the sense in the world that you have them headline these two teams for the men's War Games. I mean, let's go through it. One of the most star-studded War Games matches that we have seen in quite some time. On the babyface side, you've got Roman Reigns, his cousins, the Usos. This is not confirmed. We're assuming here, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Roman Reigns, the Usos, and both of your world champions, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, taking on Brock Lesnar, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Drew McIntyre. Andy, that is 10 of the biggest stars in the company right now. Yet help me make it make sense as to why all of them fit together.
Yeah, I mean, Punk and Jay and Jimmy and the Brawns make sense.
Yep.
Because they've been in this storyline for half the year now, if not longer, it feels like.
Yep.
Logan Paul, I think you just kind of throw him in there to be anything. If you have the Usos involved, you've got to have Roman Reigns involved at some point. Then you've got like Paul Heyman. Yeah, you can just throw Brock Lesnar in there. Well, if Punk and if Cody are involved, then Drew's got to be involved. So like that part all makes sense. So what's crazy is the man that's the odd man out in this whole thing is Cody. Like Cody's just the guy that is thrown into this because I don't think they want him to defend the title at Survivor Series. They want him to keep it till Rumble. But they want him on the show. And like why would you not put Cody Rhodes in War Games? And so I think the way they did it with Cody being there to pay respect to Cena on his last night in Boston, and then him staying and be like, yeah, let's get involved in this. Like SmackDown kind of sucks right now, so let's see what's going on with Raw. We'll jump in over here. That's what I mean. Honestly, it just feels like Cody is the odd man out in this entire situation.
Okay, so they brought it up on Busted Open today. So let's fantasy book this. If we had the pencil, okay, still working the kinks out on that segment, but if we had the pencil, let's not look at War Games. Let's look at what this leads to, because I think it's really important that we did not get a Roman Reigns Usos encounter at all tonight. Because remember, the last time we saw Roman Reigns, he didn't want to see those boys till Christmas. Okay, and here he is. So We didn't get that interaction. We know that Cody is in the midst of still probably this feud with Drew McIntyre. We know that he's got problems with Aleister Black. So, like you said, he's sort of the odd man out here. We know that Punk and Roman probably have some unsettled things from last year's War Games and last year's WrestleMania. And then who knows where main event Jey Uso and where his head is and all this. So lots of different avenues that you could take this. If you had to pick maybe one big story that comes out of War Games, once it's all said and done, doesn't matter who wins, heels, baby faces, doesn't matter. What's the big direction that we're headed out of? What does it lead to? What does War Games lead us into in 2026?
I think the biggest one, and it's not even one that you mentioned, I think the biggest one that this leads to is Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think that's the setup to this match. Like that's the big setup to this match because all the other stuff you don't need War Games to be a part of that.
Yep.
With Braun and Brock, I think this is the perfect way to get them on the same team. You got Paul Heyman in the mix. I think this is a perfect way of them building to that match at WrestleMania because they want Braun Breaker to be the next big thing, pun intended. Like I really think this is that opportunity for them to pull the trigger on it, have him not be in a world title match, but to be in the next best thing at WrestleMania. What is it? Facing Brock Lesnar. I
Sure.
think that's the next thing that they have for him. So if I was booking it, I would have some sort of shenanigans where maybe there's tension building throughout the match. And then at the end, like maybe Braun accidentally hits Brock with a spear. And then, either post match or right before the pinfall, Brock just has enough F5s them. And then, the baby faces win, the heels lose. And then we're steaming towards WrestleMania of Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar.
I'm going to throw this comment up from Aaron, and then I'm going to respond to exactly what you're saying. Aaron says Batista's coming out of the end of War Games. Aaron, please explain to me what Batista has to do with. I'm here for it. I'm here. I do think he probably makes an appearance at Saturday night's main event since it's in his hometown for John Cena's last match. So, but why does he come out at the end of War Games? I'll listen to it, but let's just hear it.
If it's not Batista, it's going to be Chris Jericho.
Right, exactly.
Or Ed.
So I'm here for it. I like your Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar idea. I seemingly was going down the path with Brock Lesnar. I don't know what Braun Breaker was going to do at WrestleMania. I haven't made it that far yet in my head, but I put Brock against Gunther at WrestleMania just because I think that's or maybe we wait for Brock's last match, which may be at SummerSlam this year because it's in Minneapolis, and that's Gunther. So who knows? But my thought is, I want to know, is it going to be, I think coming out of War Games, Roman Reigns finds a way to win the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. I think that is as big of a lock as anything for me. I would have said Sami Zayn a month and a half ago, but I think that has stalled a whole lot.
Yep.
I think Roman Reigns is a lock to win the Royal Rumble. So, Andy, if the world titles stay where they are right now in Roman's head, does he want to go after the guy that took his championship in Cody Rhodes? Or in his heart, the man that stole his wise man and he still had beef with last year, still doesn't like him, and CM Punk? Like, if that's what comes out of War Games, which route does Roman take for WrestleMania?
I tend to lean more towards Punk because I think they may have something planned for Cody. But honestly, at this point, I don't know what would be planned. Because you can't. There's no way they're stretching this Drew feud out until Mania. Like there's no way that they can do that. So but I still would lead towards Punk just because one, it's something different that people have been wanting to see for a while.
Yeah.
And it adds that big stake to it of, look where we were at WrestleMania last year. and what all of this caused because you decided to ask for that favor to have Paul in your corner. Well, then it messed both of us over, and now look at us. And so I think he, especially if he's going off the tribal chief character, like the thing about the tribal chief character is he follows his emotions more than he follows his logic at times. And when he's mad or angry, that's the thing that he's going to follow. And so I think that leads more towards Punk than it does to Cody right now.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, honestly, even though that Roman has said that this is a secondary championship and that, it was only made because nobody could beat him. And, trace back his comments over the past year or so that this championship has been in existence. But I agree with you. I think that Roman going after Punk is the more compelling story. However, I do think if you're going to do Roman Cody 3, at any point in time, it needs to be sooner rather than later because I don't think you can wait. I mean, I'm thinking next year in Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania, we're probably headed down Roman Rock. So are you waiting till WrestleMania 44 to run Cody Roman 3? Like, I wouldn't wait that long, but that's just me. I don't know. Maybe that's a SummerSlam match.
That's what I was going to say. I could see SummerSlam being the third one.
Yeah.
I guess just to spice it up, to make it something different than just having at WrestleMania. But again, who says that there's only going to be 3? Like this could be SummerSlam next year, and then it could be WrestleMania 44, wherever that is. Like there's a lot of options, and it's one of those that like it's kind of like Cena and Orton and Rock Austin. Those two guys are just kind of destined to do it forever at WrestleMania. It's the big matchup that a lot of people want to see, even though we've seen it a couple of times already.
Kind of like Roman Brock, which 10 years later we're still seeing.
Nobody wanted to see that when it was happening.
But they want to see it now because you heard the pop from the MSG crowd. Even Friday night in Albany, when Drew McIntyre came out, there was OTC chants. Like they were ready for Roman Reigns. And here we are. So these two guys, again, headlining these two War Games teams. Coming up, we're going to preview War Games next week. I mean, there's not much more to preview. Again, like I said, it's a star-studded team. I'll be interested to see what nuggets that they put in on Friday. And then, of course, on Monday, there's the advantage match, 4-on-4, Cody, Punk, the Usos against the Vision, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre.